first row, female 2029.
Mm-hmm.
Best practice is not to stop this campaign.
Mm-hmm.
It's to adjust the bids.
Correct.
Hey everyone, this is Roman from Tenjin. Welcome to another episode of ROI One-on-One. Today we'll talk about rewarded ads and most importantly about the best practices when running rewarded ads. We have a special guest, Milky from Adjoe. Milky, how's it going?
Hi, Roman, and hi, everyone. Very happy to be here.
Yeah, Adjoe team has prepared some slides for us, so we'll jump right into them and start discussing. Boom, here's our slides.
Cool, really cool. Hi, everyone. I'm Milky, Senior Partnerships Manager at Adjoe. I've been in AdTech industry for quite some time now, almost 10 years, and have had experience working with some of the global gaming companies in mobile. And I'm continuing that journey with Adjoe. Adjoe is an ad tech company offering mobile advertising and app monetization solutions, and some of which actually is a shared or a common partner with Tenjin. So we're recently recognized to be in the top 10 global ad networks. So we are most known for our rewarded ad format Playtime, and we are now also entering the programmatic advertising scene. So today, we'll explore, as you said, rewarded advertising, starting with what it is, why it matters, and the key strategies for success in this space. And we'll also be sharing real life examples and offering basically practical tips for making this ad solution work for our marketers. So I hope everyone stays with us until the end of the session.
For sure, for sure. This is what our audience love, like
Mm-hmm.
practical stuff,
Practical
right?
tips, yeah.
Yeah, but here is a good start. The theory, what is rewarded ads?
Yep. For the people who are unfamiliar, and actually also the familiar people, in essence, rewarded ad, it's an ad format that provide the users with an incentive, such as in-game currency or items in exchange for engaging with the ad. So this form of advertising enhances the user experience by offering them tangible rewards. So you can see here an example of the user journey on the Playtime rewarded ads, where Playtime is directly integrated with our publishers. And once the user decides to interact with Playtime, they will be presented with a short list of personalized gaming offers. So once they download and start playing, they will earn rewards from time spent or even levels achieved.
And they will earn rewards for which app? The original app where they saw the ad or the new one?
Correct. So they earn rewards from the publisher app. Yes.
Okay, got it. But wait, Milky, the offer
Mhm.
walls were like since forever available, and now there are no offer walls. At least no one is talking about themselves as offer walls, but there are a lot of companies that are doing rewarded ads. What's the difference?
That's a very good question. So I believe that offer walls are one of ad formats offering the rewarded advertising. So offer walls typically use CPA, like one-time reward, or CPE, which is multi-rewards models. So they offer both gaming and non-gaming options with hundreds of offers available. However, targeting is limited to geo and source data with very minimal personalization. So some offer walls enable time rewarding, but it's done based on advertisers' postbacks. So it works the same as events basically. So Playtime, as I mentioned, is another available rewarded ad format. So it's allowing time tracking based on first-party data. So the users device. So this makes the rewarding more stable. And Playtime operates on CPI, cost per install model. It is also centered around gaming and offers more personalized ads with advanced targeting through opt-in. So this is fully compliant with GDPR as well, and that is what Adjo is offering. So the difference, so there is no difference between an offer wall and rewarded ads. I believe that rewarded ads are can be seen inside an offer wall.
Oh, okay, gotcha. But again, let's. I got the idea, but I'm asking this question all of the time off the camera, but just wanted to do it like for this recording. So I'm getting some sort of incentive to play another app, right, as a
Yes,
user.
correct.
But now, as an advertiser, why would I pay for such users? They have not a lot of motivation to play my game, or do they?
On the advertiser side, you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, they do because so this is what we're gonna go through today. Like, what is the motivation for them to basically engage in the game, right? So they will. The motivation there is basically to earn more rewards on the original or the publisher app, where they get incentives basically of either. So the most popular or the most common publisher in this rewarded space are play to earn apps, if you're familiar with them. So we do have some gaming, but majority would be play to earn apps because these are consumer based kind of audience. So they come. The motivation there is for them to earn rewards that they can exchange outside of the app.
Gotcha. Then we can go through the slides and I'll see if anything looks interesting. Yeah, let's go forward.
Yep. So why it's important or why rewarded, right? Why is it becoming more popular these days? So based on our partner testimonials, those who have had success in Playtime Rewarded, they consistently highlight the value of deeper engagement and higher user interaction. So, additionally, we have cases that have seen faster returns with profitability to achieve in as little as 7 to 14 days. So, that is substantially quicker than a traditional ad channel. So, when discussing the value of rewarded advertising, it's especially important to consider its impact on iOS. As one partner noted, it's easier to track the users and gain a clear understanding of real performance. There was actually a case study from Unity that highlights the additional value of rewarded traffic. So um, a few of the highlight would be higher engagement. So they have found that players are 4 to 9 times, actually, that's a quite high number, more likely to make in-app purchase after they engage with a rewarded ads. And on top of that, of course, we're considering better user experience. So the user actively choose to engage because rewarded ad is a type of a non-intrusive ad, so leading to a higher satisfaction and better retention.
Yeah, that's what I also heard from people in the space that like actually not all of the users are there only for the rewards. They're gamers, so they kind of get into the game and they kind of enjoy it, and then they don't really have a reason to leave because they like it,
They
you
like
know.
they're
Yeah,
hooked. Yeah, that's
that's
true.
a yeah, and I heard this both from vendors and advertisers. So now advertisers really love those rewarded ads, and
That's
then
true. It's very true.
a lot of companies that are offering that. Any other reason why rewarded ads are so popular nowadays?
I think in my experience, you mentioned it earlier, right? Rewarded ads have been in the space for quite some time now. But recently, the evolving iOS market has pushed
Mm,
marketers to test and adapt new solutions. So this is revealing the true value of rewarded ads. Additionally, rewarded solution have evolved from one-off rewards. I think you mentioned this earlier as well. So they've evolved from one-off rewards to deeper engagement funnels, which Playtime was unique with from the very beginning.
got it. Yeah, let's see what do we have next.
Yep. So yeah, Playtime, as I mentioned, is a rewarded solution, and it comes with two main campaign types for us. So we have time-based campaigns. So these rewards users for the amount of time they spend playing, and event-based campaign here. The users are rewarded for completing a specific task for an achievement in the game. I think you mentioned earlier about like the motivation, right? So let's take a closer look at why different rewarding models are essential. So the reason is very simple. Every player is different, and players have these varied motivations when engaging with a game. And by recognizing these differences, you can tailor the rewards for a maximum impact. So at Agile, we categorize them into two different groups. So one would be the explorer, who prefers time-based rewards for longer engagement. I think this was what you mentioned earlier, where they kind of are hooked to the game already, and the achievers who respond better to event-based rewards tied to in-game events. So,
So would I run, let's pause here.
yeah.
Would I run both of these campaigns simultaneously? Let's talk about the best practices. What would you recommend?
So the answer is yes, because having testing them both at the same time will give us like a wider target. I think as straightforward as it is, it also gives the user more options to basically engage. Would they want to go? Would they want to earn the rewards based on time spent, or would they want to earn the rewards based on achieving a certain level?
Got it, got it. Let's dive deep. I saw
Yeah.
time based.
So yeah, so I wanted to dive deeper into each of the campaign types. So on time-based campaign, Agile's algorithm manages the time-based rewarding logic. So we're giving users just enough rewards for the time they spent in the game to keep them engaged, without making rewards their sole focus. So for this campaign type, we allow our models to calculate the rewards based on the user's behavior. And on the other hand, advertisers can customize reward moments with key points in their app gameplay. So this could be levels achieved, completed tasks, or any other specific achievements. So compared to time-based reward system, there's more flexibility to tailor the rewards based on how far the users get to the game, encouraging them to reach higher levels in exchange for higher rewards.
So let's say I'm a small indie developer. Let's say I'm a founder of such company. I don't have a UA team. I'm running all my campaigns by myself. I would assume that I would rather run a time-based campaign because it will do everything for me. Is it accurate?
It really depends. So right now we have a lot of these cases at the moment, but the answer really is it depends on your goal. So it depends on how small is small, right? In my experience, for partners with conservative resources, we still try to recommend testing it both initially, and decide down the line which format to keep, or is time-based working then better than event-based. There are also cases where there are, again, it's different how we define small, because some smaller advertisers don't have the capability to track in-app events. So of course, in that case where events are not available, we then go directly for time-based.
Okay, got you. But okay, let's use budget as a differentiator.
Yeah.
What is a minimum budget here?
So there actually is no exact numbers in our case. I'm gonna go through it real quick later for some tips, but basically there are few factors that we consider in terms of before we can define the budget. So there actually isn't. We usually recommend, of course, the in rewarded and specific, the testing period is a little bit longer than a normal
Mm.
channel. So of course, the total budget should be enough to be able to gain enough data to optimize from. So yeah, again, there are different factors that we need to consider before we can decide for a testing budget.
Would the advertiser kind of understand when it's the algorithm learned? So we pass this learning phase, or how would the advertiser know that the learning phase is over?
So I think in any case, we try to run the campaigns for a minimum of 2 weeks. I think
Mm-hmm.
it also depends. So there are apps. So for games that are, say for example, casual or in-app based campaigns, they have longer cohorts. They see profitability in like D60, D90 cohorts.
Mm.
So for this ones, of course, the learning period is doesn't stop at like 14 days, right? So for hyper casual games, for example, I think you can already see a stable result after 14 days. So in our experience, we try to run the campaigns a minimum of 14 days and try to generate as much data as we can within that time period and start optimizing the campaigns within that after that, sorry.
Super, super. Yeah, this is what basically advertisers need.
Yeah.
Just to know some, like, of course it always depends, but
Mm-hmm.
just to set some like numbers, some goals, and
Yep.
give some understanding.
For
Okay,
sure.
let's see what
Yeah.
else do they have.
So that's the event-based campaign for you, and for advertisers who are wondering which events to use, particularly for event-based campaign, we typically recommend starting with 5 to 10 events. So balancing both early and deeper events or deeper milestone. So the first event should aim for at least 80% of user completion rate, while the final event should target around 2 to 5% of completion rate. So this is to ensure a natural progression of engagement.
Nice.
Yeah, so I think this is also a very interesting topic for any UA or marketers out there. So, for advertisers aiming to scale their UA efforts on rewarded space, it's essential to partner with providers offering global traffic. So, at Adjo, we typically categorize our markets into the top markets, the core, and the active tiers. So, based in my experience, you can see, sort of similar strategies among advertisers to categorize their markets into three different tiers. So, tier one, for example, is a good starting point because markets such as US, of course, Germany, France, UK, Japan, and Korea. These are ideal for starting tests as they often deliver strong ROAS. In tier two, on the other hand, is a market that offers a solid return on ad spend and good volumes, but also less competition. And of course, last but not the least, including APAC and the rest of the world, this is a geo where it's great for high volumes with lower CPI, combined with higher retention rates and, of course, minimal competition. So,
What was
yeah.
the split? Let's just repeat the budget split. I think you had it on the first slide here. Yep. So
This
it's
one?
70%, tier one, 70%, tier two, 20, tier three, 10,
Yes.
right?
So basically, this is the available traffic for Adjo. So of course, majority of our traffic is still coming from tier one, but we also have the core markets in tier two, which makes up 20% of our traffic. And for active markets like APAC and rest of the world, we have at least 10% overall.
Okay. And do you recommend to mix those up, or it's like campaign per tier, campaign per country, or?
Yes. So basically, US, we always just have US as a separate campaign, right? But for the rest of it, we have a feature where you can have this tiers within one campaign. So I think that's one feature that I wanted to highlight, because then if you see the performance of each sort of geos in one campaign, and you see like one campaign or one geo is performing better than the other, you can always take that geo out, create a new campaign, and have a higher bidding, or you can actually do it inside the same campaign. So this is where the granular bidding comes into play, where we optimize the performance based on what performance we see in each tier or in each geo.
Got it. Got
Yeah.
it.
So yeah, I think we're going into one of the most exciting part, which is best practices. So I think when setting up campaigns, I wanted to share some tips to keep in mind. And in this guide, here are some key factors to consider when setting up a test campaign for your app. So start by, of course, as we just mentioned, start by focusing on your top performing markets. And we suggest targeting broader demographics to basically gather the data and fine tune as the campaign progress. So you can also considering excluding the non-compatible devices at the beginning, and the same goes for OS. I wanted to highlight as well the lookalike audiences. So I think lastly that you should consider looking or adding a lookalike audience as part of an additional campaign. So this will help you reach potential users who share similar characteristics with your existing audience. So another going back to your question earlier about test budget, as I mentioned, there are several factors that we consider. One of which, of course, is the type of game that you want to promote. Again, you will not have the same budget for a casual game versus an RPG game. So it's important to keep that in mind. We also look into the monetization mix. So what's the percentage between the revenue from ads and the revenue from purchase? And it also the test budget will also depend on how many countries you want to target right at the beginning, and as well as the granular targeting that you wanted to test out at the very beginning as well. And of course, most importantly, the KPIs, where of course, an aggressive KPIs would require a certain amount of budget. Um, some of the tips that we wanted to share today as well is always for rewarded networks, you always want to aim bid or to bid as high as possible, because you want to be competitive and make sure that your ad reaches the best placement. So This is again, so when when having the when we're talking about the budgets, when we're talking about the budgets, we of course need to consider that if we have higher bids and higher CPIs, then we'll need higher budgets. And if CPIs are lower, then we can start at a lower tier of budget. So we aim to, of course, gather between 150 and 200 installs per campaign daily. And in terms of optimization, we continuously optimize by adjusting the bids, splitting the age group, and adjusting sources based on performance.
Nice.
So yeah, so I actually wanted to quickly, as I promised at the beginning of this, we wanted to give you real life examples of the success that we've had. So I wanted to quickly share a case study from one of our leading match 3 puzzle games. And we ran the test in the US, targeting females aged 20 to 99 and OS set at a 10 and higher. So the bid was set initially at $8 with approximately 800 installs per day. So going into the first week of the campaign, we started adjusting bids based on age group, as we move forward, we try to optimize sources as we progress. So here we see that the age group between 20 to 29 was behind the D7 target, or so we started to optimize it. So we lower down the bids, and based on this performance, as opposed to just excluding it completely, we went into just optimizing the bids. The result of this was an improvement to the ROAS overall. So as you can see, also the other age group, while they already have positive results by trying a much more competitive bids, it basically increased, or it delivered higher returns of at least 32% for the best performing age group. So you can see the ROAS to be consistently improving after this adjustment. So this goes to shows how important to have proper bids, so we can maximize the performance for all types of users. And this kind of granular optimization you can expect from Playtime rewarded ads.
Let's go to the previous slide, just so I understand it. So the first one, first row, female 2029. Best practice is not to stop this campaign. It's to adjust the bids.
Correct.
Got it.
Yeah, so that has always been a best practice, and this is just an example. This also applies to publisher bidding optimization, as well as other targeting that we can do. So the best practice is to not stop it completely, but rather optimize the bids, especially when we are on the testing phase of the campaign.
And you said here you lowered the bids, right?
Yes.
So it can be either lowering or going higher.
Increasing. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you know? How would you know? Would you lower or increase?
Of course. So yeah. So see for example, if you have, of course, if we see that within this age group, this D7 is already almost 20% behind the goal, and there, when we see a negative, we'll just always try to decrease it by, first we try to do it incrementally. But like, say for example, if the negative is, I don't know, like 50-70%, of course we'll decrease it even further. So at the beginning, depending on the performance, we try to decrease it between 10, 20, 30%. And same for increasing it, we try to increase it incrementally as well, as opposed to jumping or increasing it like at a very high stage.
Okay, this is very good. And the next slide, please. And one of the previous slides, you had something with the sources, and now
Here.
you don't have it. So what happened here? What was the reason for a second
I
boost?
think what we wanted to do here is just to focus more on the age group, but we can also talk about the sources.
Mm-hmm. Sources is where the ad is displayed, the publishers.
Correct, correct. So basically, in terms of optimizing the sources, it's the same, right? So when we see the performance to be working well in a publisher A, B, or C, we then try to increase the bids there to make sure that we're maximizing, the results from that particular publisher. And of course, vice versa, if the performance is not working well for a certain publisher, then we try to decrease the bids as the performance suggests.
Got it. And how do you do this? Like, do you go to your account
Ah,
manager or?
yes, that's a good question. So this is done through our internal dashboard. So usually our account managers will, or our demand growth partners, go to our advertisers sometimes very proactively and say, hey, we see that one of our publishers is working really well. Do you want to increase the bid? So we do it on our side. So at the moment, our platform is co-managed, so it means our advertisers have an access to it, but also we have dedicated account managers who will make suggestion based on data to basically change or optimize or fine tune anything that we need to update within the campaigns to ensure that we're reaching the goals.
Got it. Okay. Cool. 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 Yeah. Let's see what else do we have.
Yep. So we talked about like the importance of uh, we talk about the importance of being able to manage the bids and align it based on the performance of each user. And there was actually, we wanted to share Homa's success story is also an example of taking advantage of our granular bidding strategy. So Homa, I think everyone's familiar, is a hyper
Yep.
and hybrid casual studio with a lot of ad revenue heavy apps within their
Mm-hmm.
portfolio. So the challenge is, which I think is very common for this type of games, is acquiring high quality users at a lower cost. So the solution was our bidding strategy coupled with granular targeting. We aligned the bids based on each user segment's performance. So in summary, their KPI were overachieved by 130%, and the initial performance was actually very promising. That within the first 30 days, they launched most of their titles, which is I think around 30 games. So I think yeah, this is a very
Impressive.
yeah. So this is a very successful story that we have. Being able to use our first party data to make this kind of adjustment was substantial for Homa. Um, so yeah, I think in any UA topic, which I think you already have had a lot, creatives will always come to play. So, and I wanted to share a little bit of what we do in terms of creatives on the rewarded side. So the question is that does creative matter on on a format such as Playtime? So what we can see is that on Playtime, we consider the user's mindset is similar to when they enter, an app store, a Google store, where they see offers, but like
Mm-hmm.
fewer apps to choose from or download. So this mindset, with this mindset, the amount of rewards as well as the placement of the app impacts their decision to engage with an app, while the creatives become secondary. So this is actually what I mentioned earlier, that having a competitive bid will always make sure that your placement is always, at a good ranking. So, and besides that, on our end, we still, of course, wanted to share some few tips on creatives on how they work on, particularly for rewarded ads. So, number one, of course, we should avoid fake ads that will misrepresent the game. And on our side, using video ads converts much better, and localization is also one of the key part, so to ensure that your ads are localized to the language of your target audience, because we use a lot of descriptions, in especially for event-based campaign, for example, where we give them instruction on what to do, like, I don't know, complete level 5 to earn this much reward. And as for the frequency, we wanted to aim to update the creatives at least once every 1 to 2 months. And yeah, so I think that's it for us for the creatives.
Let's go to the previous one. For the time-based, can I not upload the creative at all if I'm doing time-based campaign, or should I just not care much?
Oh no, you can. I mean, we need to.
Okay.
That's the thing. So we still need to have the creatives. I think the goal for this slide is basically, what is the impact of the creatives overall in terms of
Okay.
performance.
Okay. And you emphasized on time-based. So for the event-based, is it different?
It's the same. It's the
Same.
same.
Okay.
Yeah, the same concept.
Got it. Okay,
Yeah.
clear.
Cool. So yeah, I think for Adjoe, what's next for Adjoe in particular? We wanted to get our partners excited for our self-serve dashboard, which is coming out in October, with for our live partners, and soon after for new ones as well. And we are also in a final stage of developing our automated ROAS driven optimization solution. So I think we can expect that in Q4.
Awesome.
So yeah, I think in conclusion, Playtime rewarded ads with all its features that I just mentioned. It is a powerful tool to drive higher engagement, improve ROAS as well as retention. But only a systemic approach of testing will ensure that you can fully leverage this platform to drive your game's success. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
So thank you so much, Milky. This has a lot of good stuff. I really like the slides.
That's cool.
Give us a like if you liked it too. Subscribe, of course. If you have questions, you can also leave them in the comment. We'll ask Milky and the team to answer them. Then have a good one, and until the next one. See ya.
Thank you so much, Roman, and see you again on the next one.
Yeah. Cheers.